The sad reality is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're hard to find.
Hi guys, welcome back to Life with a Diamond Girl Talk Part 2. Guess what? We're going a little deeper today. I still have my sisters here, Janae, Jetura, and Jaleen, and they gave us so much food in that first episode that we had to do a part 2. And today, guess what we're going to talk about? What are Christian young women looking for? Guys, you got to have your notepads ready. Take some notes because you're going to need it. What are Christian young women looking for in a future husband, in a relationship, the good stuff, right? So ladies, welcome back. So good to have you guys again on Life with a Diamond. And my first question to you is this: are Christian men hard to find? Jamie, are Christian men hard to find in the church, in the kingdom?
Well, sister, we are still in now.
So this is evidence.
Living proof. But the reality is that in our churches, if you look around, you will hardly find eligible young men who are ready and serious for marriage. So the sad reality is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're hard to find.
Joshua, would you say that as a church, because you just said that they are hard to find, but we have young men in church who they give their life to Christ, they're serving Jesus, but maybe they're not as passionate about their relationship with Jesus as you are. So let me ask you this question: do you often feel as if men are intimidated by your pursuit for Christ?
That's a deep question. But I do feel, yes, I do feel so. I think in our culture, unfortunately, women are usually the ones that fill most of the population in church. And even from a young age, your mother will say, okay, girls, you need to go to church. Boys, you could chill, you could do that. So we have this kind of culture where we don't encourage our young men to pursue God. We always tell the girls, go church, you have to be in church, there's no option for us. But the young men, they have the option. You could go live on the block, you could choose if you want to go to church on Sunday or not. We don't, and sometimes we create this narrative that when they seek God, they're weak. They're not manly or stuff like that. When we see men in church crying out to God and giving all their heart, they're not real men. When the reality is a man that seeks the Lord is a real man, right? Yeah. So I feel that we don't encourage them enough, and there are not a lot of men that are willing to shepherd them and bring them under the wings and be like, I'm gonna be this Paul to you. I'm gonna teach you what I've made mistakes in, and allow them to be vulnerable and transparent. And when they open up to them, that they don't judge them or look at their walk any different. Because sometimes you open to somebody and they be like, this is the same Joshua who lead in worship Sunday. Like, this is the same, you need persons that you could run to and you could empty in them and you submit under them and receive what they're giving you. But unfortunately, our young men, they don't have that, but they do desire it. But there's nobody willing to. Well, let me just say there's nobody willing. Few people are willing.
So Johnny, what do you think that we can do as a church, as young women, to kind of help the guys out in terms of coming to a place whereby they love God, they know what they're about, and they're willing now to become men that we can look to and say, hey, you make a good husband. What do you think we can do to help our young men?
Don't pressure them.
Oh, go deeper.
Wow.
Go deeper.
I'm just
just pulling from my own experiences with my male friends and around in church and stuff like that. And, you know, from what they have told me before, it's like if they know to themselves that they're not there as yet, but there are a lot of young ladies who are desperate for relationships.
Ouch!
And because of that, they tend to run away because it's premature. They're not ready yet. You know? So my thing is that we have to be careful because men, they're very delicate, just as female as well. They don't show their emotions outwards, but they go through a lot internally, right? So you have to allow God to mold them and to make them the men that they should be before you push yourself and say, well then, you know, going on, because a lot of these men they're broken, they're trying to mend back the pieces of their life, and for them bringing a female in their life, they remember them, the man is the head and they're supposed to be a covering, and you can't get holy angle and expect with you. You understand? So a Christian guy would actually avoid premature relationships, and we get angry at them when they say, but we have so much chemistry and whatever, but the guy that says that no, I'm not ready for you, I'm not ready for this, don't get angry with him. He's speaking the truth. So you, as Christian woman, we must be aware, and we must be willing to wait, because the guy has to be ready. He's the one that will bring you in. You understand? I think females, we are a little bit too hasty, and we're always ready before the man ready. Yes. But it's the man who has to pick you up, and he has to be ready in himself. So the Lord has to do a work in him. Yeah. He has to find you. You can't find him and try for you understand me? Understand? So I think we should not pressure Christian men. We should pray for them. Pray for them. Be their friend. Pray for them and be their friend. And trust me, you will be surprised how fast them pick you up.
People, we need to take a champagne alcoholic champagne break right now, because it's tough food. I gotta swallow this, I gotta drink this with. Give me a minute.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was some hard food to swallow, but it was needed and necessary.
We can't be desperate. The man has to be ready. And sometimes we put ourselves in the position to get hurt.
Yes. Wow.
That is why a lot of women are broken, because they go after men who are not ready. And sometimes the men know they are ready and they take advantage.
Yeah.
They say, well, me could just play around with you until, you know?
And I think sometimes they try to please us in terms of, I'm trying to give you what you want.
But their heart is not there.
And so
they can't commit.
They can't commit
because they are not ready. And marriage is more than just a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing. Your spirit man must be ready to be a leader, a spiritual leader, covering everything. So you can't force a young man in church to take you up as a wife and to take you seriously. You have to allow them. You have to allow God to work on them. So that is why waiting is so important as a young lady. You have to wait.
That's the truth. That's such a good point. Waiting as young women, because we're so passionate about God, we try to bring people into our race. And you say when we bring them, we get ourselves in trouble. So now, how do we as young women wait on the Lord and wait? You see a guy who you might like, or he might be the one for you, but he's not ready yet. How do we as young women position ourselves to wait on God and wait on him, or know when it's time to wait, or when it's time to just leave him right there and say, you know, this guy, he's not ready, just let him be? How do you think that you as a young woman could differentiate and say, all right, I'm waiting on God, I'm willing to wait on him, or let me just cut my losses and just move on? Who wants to take that?
You see, there's purpose in everything. In no part of your waiting, you know, there's an empty script that says, okay, I'm just here waiting, there's nothing for me to do, and I'm being impatient because I'm waiting. There's purpose in our lives, every part of our lives. Me waiting doesn't mean that I'm just here. There are things, the reality is that there are things that God has put in our lives to do. We are worship ministers, there's that craft to develop. There's seeking God, there's working with young people, studying,
ministry to build,
whatever. If we really stay focused on the things we're supposed to do in that particular season, and we make sure we're taking care of purpose first, then we would not become impatient in waiting on this young man. He's supposed to find us in
That's
God,
right.
in
Yes.
purpose,
Yes.
doing what we've been called to do,
Of course.
and He meets us in there.
Yes.
Because if I was a man and I need to just sit down waiting, I would. And that's why a lot of men don't take young women seriously too,
Yeah.
because they don't look like they're doing anything.
Yeah.
So we
They
wait
preach.
in purpose.
Yeah.
Do what God has called
They
you
preach,
to
they
do.
preach.
Fulfill your assignment.
Yeah, so waiting has a definition, waiting has a look.
Yes.
Waiting
Come
is
on.
not still, but waiting is actually getting yourself busy in your
Right,
assignment,
exactly.
creating history
Come
with
on.
God, and He
Come
becomes your everything. So that when He adds someone else, it's both of you now pursuing God together. That's the purpose for marriage, that's the purpose for relationship. So let me ask you this. What are 3 things that you are looking for in a husband? And he must have a heart for God and the things of God. So what are 3 things that you are looking for? Help the fellas out.
You go first.
Okay, so I think for me, my first thing is that I really want a man that is family oriented. Family is really important to me. You know, a man that desires, to have children, to build a godly legacy and to leave an inheritance for our children. So that's one. Another thing is a man of integrity. These days integrity is like a prized possession. It's like a jewel, but a man that has integrity and stands for what he believes in, and a man with a vision, man with purpose. Because I know that God has called me to certain things, but when I see that man pursuing his vision and pursuing his purpose with all his heart, I will be able to surrender my purpose to him. In that you have to submit it, and it's not just your purpose alone, no, it's a collective purpose in marriage. So when I'm seeing him going after purpose, it's not just like God can use me, God, but what is God saying? What is He leading you into? But a man that is going after his purpose, I will be able to submit under that. So that's what I'm looking
For me, firstly, a man is a spiritual father. I have come to understand and to learn the importance of being submissive to a spiritual head, somebody who could guide you, direct you. Even in my singleness, I need that person. I need my spiritual father's help, my parents' help to navigate certain seasons. I believe marriage is no different, that you're going to need people. A marriage is 2 people, 2 different personalities coming together. I believe that there may be times when we might have a little clash and we need this person, this voice of reason to sit us down. So I need somebody who is submitted to a father who has a spiritual head, somebody who has a heart for people. When you know me, you know that I love people, and that's where my life is going. Plenty people around me all the time, but I need somebody who has a heart for people, who has a heart for the work of God. When you love people, that's how people see Jesus in you. So somebody who has a heart for people, and somebody who knows what God has called him to do, because I know what God has called me to do. I know what my purpose is. I'm working on it even in my singleness. I know where I'm going in my future. I cannot marry a man who doesn't know anything about his purpose. And then marriage is not just about having sex or having a companion, but marriage is for purpose. So he must know what God has called him to. He must know what is his purpose, where he's going, so that when I come knowing mine and he knows his, then we can now work together and fulfill this together.
Basically the same. I mean, I want a man that complements my purpose, my destiny, my ministry, period. And I'm really into music, ministry and music. So if he can, I don't know, but he must complement, you understand? So, and secondly, I want a secure man. I don't care, I deal with insecure men. I can't. Because that insecurity has different levels. But for me, because I know my personality and I have a kind of strong female personality, I don't want a man who feels intimidated by me, or who's threatened by me, or I can't. I want somebody who's secure in himself and secure in God as well. Also, I want a guy who's patient and humble, because I know myself. And it's so important that he is patient and humble, because Lord knows I need that guy to be patient and humble, because I know myself. God has shown me, and I say, I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But the guy that I am supposed to be with, he has to know how to handle me.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
Alright, so let me ask you this question now, ladies. Do you think you are qualified to receive what you're asking?
Oh Lord Jesus.
Because we want a lot of things as women. We want our men to be this, we want our men to be that. But do you think you are qualified? Because I remember one time I was in prayer and I was praying to God, about my future husband. And I remember I started to weep, right? And my prayer moved from asking God for what I wanted from him and just praying, God, keep him, strengthen him, whatever ministry he's doing, uphold him and what's not. And I realized that, God processing me. I used to say, my husband will be a blessed man because of me. But I'm saying my husband will be a blessed man because of the work that God has done in me, which means he's very important to God.
Yes.
That he would clean me up so much. So this man has to be important. So do you think you're on a journey, or you're at the level to receive? Yes, no?
I would definitely say it's a journey, because every day we get closer to Jesus and he reveals more of the things in our lives that are exactly like him, and the aim is to be like him in all things. So I do believe that it's a journey. It's a journey. So it's getting better, because God will constantly show you, I want somebody who loves people. And even in my loving people, he has to show me the areas where I have to be very careful, or the things I can do better, having a heart like his. So as God works on you, you get better. And I don't believe, we don't want to take for granted that these men are coming with everything perfect 100% on every level, because they are individuals just like us, people who are still growing in Christ. But the basic things that you want to see somebody who is going on the right path. So it's a journey.
So let me ask my final question to Jelly. What would you say to young women who are waiting, who are looking, who've been in church for a long time, and they are frustrated because they feel like they cannot find a man, their biological clock is ticking, that pressure is on? What do you say to women?
So weird. I actually thought about this question before I came here. I thought about that question. I'm like, what would I say? But the truth is, I've learned that when I take my hands off of something and I just say, I'm done, I can't. God, you take that. You do what you need to do. That is when God has come true for me. I don't know about anybody else. But for me, I will encourage young women out there to keep praying and keep trusting in God and take your hands off of it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to do things. Don't do anything. Just seek God and do things for God and allow God to work it out. Because a lot of times the stress that comes with singleness is what we put on ourselves. We want it now, be impatient. It's what we put on ourselves. But if we really trust God and trust that God has our best interest at hand, then you're going to just leave that and just say, God will do it, God will fix it up anytime, no matter how long it may take. Because I've seen people who have waited for years, they never thought they would get married and they end up married today, have a child, everything. So I'm saying, when God already talked to you personally and say, look, this is what I have for you, trust him. Because some of us, God, you don't know, something deep down telling you that God has your husband. Don't worry. Don't fret. Keep doing things, keep seeking God and just allow him to work in your life. That's it.
So young ladies, there is hope for you. And young men, as you can see, we are not here to bash you, but we are praying that God really raise you up in this season. So ladies, I want to say thank you for Girl Talk Part 2, and it was such a pleasure. Let's toast to finding men of God in the future. Amen. Alright, so guys, we love you. This was Life with a Diamond. Girl Talk, what are Christian young women looking for? Until next episode, see you.